Hey guys, this is my first look at the APR version 2.0 K04 tune. Just got my K04 installed. I did one little go around with the stock tune just to find out if everything's working okay, and it seems to be. This was a turbo that I rebuilt myself. It was a blown turbo I bought off the forums. So there was a question on whether or not everything's going to work all right, but we'll see how she does. Well, there goes second. That is way too fast for me to say on a public post. Well, alright, so everything works good. I've lost a little torque down low. Certainly the throttle response is a little bit, well, okay, the turbo lags. The throttle response, you know, is just about what a Mark 6 always has been. Pretty good so far. I think I'll come back and do another video for my my second go around. Again, that was my first full throttle with the 93 octane tune with the APR K04 version 2.0 file. Hey, what's up guys? I'm back. Again, this is the APR version 2.0 K04 tune with the 93 octane gasoline. This is the second time I'm taking it for a ride. I'm on my way back home, so I'm going to be navigating. Forgive me for being a little spotty on the voiceover here. So yeah, let's see how she does. A little loss of torque down low. Once it spools up, it is plenty. Man, the sounds are awesome. A lot more swishy, swooshy than the K03 was. K03 was pretty whooshy. This one's kinda a little more hiss, like a snake. It's pretty awesome. Definitely enjoying it. I have a VF Engineering intake, so it's an open filter. It's not a dry filter, it's a oil filter. It's full piping all the way to the turbo. One piece. It's actually a pretty nice intake. I like it, as long as it fits, which it does not always fit. And it relocates the MAF sensor. I like to pick projects that are a pain in my asses. Under the guise of saving money, which never really works out. So stuck here to light. It's been red for a while. I might just cut this part out. Or maybe not, if I'm lazy. So I'm here in Valparaiso, Indiana. I went to Team Volkswagen Audi dealership. They are now an APR tuner authorized dealer. As of like May or something. The guy who was tuning my car, Kyle, awesome dude by the way, really helpful, especially with the problems I was having with the 3-bar map sensor. He was awesome. Let me just, you know, hang out by him. We chatted about this fucking awesome S5 who was getting a pulley and a tune next to my car. So yeah, Team Audi Volkswagen, great dealer. Had a good experience with them. So I mentioned my 3-bar map sensor issue. I bought a 3-bar map sensor off of HS Tuning. It is the right part number. And I confirmed that with multiple sources, including APR's own website. The picture of their 3-bar map sensor has this part number on it. But the connectors, the pins in the connector and the connector side of the 3-bar are bigger than the ones in my 2.5-bar sensor. So although the connector housing is the right size, it fits onto the 3-bar map sensor. It doesn't plug in all the way because the female pins on the harness side do not fully engage to the pins of the 3-bar sensor. We were hoping, wow, traffic, okay. We were hoping that we were able to get in just far enough so that the car would pick up the 3-bar sensor and I would be able to drive home. However, that didn't quite work out. It seemed to make a connection initially, but as we were just pulling around the parking lot, we got the check engine light and things started running really bad. Alright, I need to pay more attention to where I'm going because I need to get home. I'm hungry. So yeah, here I'm doing 50 miles an hour on Route 30 in Indiana. And I'm just about to merge onto 65 South. Pretty sure that's gonna, no, actually 65 South is not gonna take me to 94. Whoops. Oh well, extended K04 review. I'll take the next exit to turn around. Alright, here I am, 4,000 RPM. Okay. Okay, so it's faster. It is certainly a shitload faster. It's not as grunty as Stage 2 is. It doesn't feel as fast. And so I drove J745's car before mine. He has the K04. He also has an RSR. Pretty much the setup I want to end up with. And I noted that it wasn't as grunty in his, in my, pseudo review of driving his car. And yeah, I feel that here too. Go figure, same engine setup, right? It doesn't feel as fast. However, it's a lot faster. So it's really just a shove thing. K04 does not shove like Stage 2 does. So I just did a roll-on 6th in 6th for about 68 to 80 miles an hour. Let's do one again. And the car doesn't really get up to full acceleration until about 75 miles an hour. So the spool up time for K04 is certainly greater. I noticed when I went from stock to Stage 1 that the addition and boost made the K03 feel more laggy simply because the turbine itself, the whole CHRA was spooling up more, and it gave me a sense of the inertia that you have to deal with in a turbo. That going from 10 bar worth of RPM on the turbo to 10 psi to 15 psi gave me a sense that, oh yeah, okay, this thing has inertia and it needs more time to spool up to 15 psi. Even with the stock K03, I felt I had that impression. Now with the K04, I was expecting that I would be feeling more inertia from the turbine and compressor wheels. I don't, actually. That's not the case. I feel like it's more of a flow thing. It's like the turbo itself isn't resisting spooling up by way of being, greater inertia rotating assembly, but that in fact the flow at lower RPMs just isn't there to make better use of the turbine. It's really difficult to explain, but like when I'm down at 2400 RPM, it really does take quite a while to get any sort of flow out of the turbo. Not any sort of flow, I mean, compared to a normal car, this is certainly a lot faster. But compared to something like, a V8 where at 2400 RPM you have gobs of torque, this is not that. Speaking of V8s, I'm looking at an old Mustang GT, the 3-valve, the slow as fuck 3-valve. Oh, there's another one. So, I just got off 65. I took 65 south instead of 65 north for some dumb fucking reason. It's probably because I'm recording a video. It's all your fault. So now I'm just turning around here. We'll do another pull onto the highway. If there is no traffic, I might do a few pulls on the highway. Although I have seen a lot of cops around here, so I'm gonna be kind of cautious initially. I'm probably gonna stop the video and then start another video or start the video back up again. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do any editing on this video. We'll see. When I'm at another part of I-94 that I know is a lot, there are a lot fewer cops there. So, you know, it's a little difficult, a little more difficult with the K04 to get the clutch engaged. It feels like the torque response of the engine isn't quite what it was with the K03. I don't know if that is going to show itself in my daily driving, because I don't know, I don't particularly love how this car responds to load at low speeds, or low engine speeds rather. Alright, pulling onto the highway here. Here we go. Whoa! Whoa, it pulls really high up there. I just did up to 6,500 RPM and really impressed with the torque it gave me all the way up there. Alright, so I pulled onto a very busy highway, so I'm not going to be doing a lot of pulls. Hello, Mr. CTSV. Okay. Yeah, so I think the hardware is working alright, and that's that's pretty fantastic. Like I said, I bought this blown K04 off the forums for 400 bucks. It was chunks. I mean, the compressor wheel hit something because it was torn to pieces. That $400 package came with a new compressor housing. I had to buy a diverter valve relocation kit, which funnily enough was a combination between a CTS kit and a Unitronic kit. Their older kit, which made the diverter valve, you know, it's by the turbo down there, not in front, by the intake manifold. What else did I have to do? I bought a factory CHL. That wasn't a CSV. That was just a CTS4 with a CSV grill. Oh, but there is an ST. Fantastic. Let's see what it feels like to fuck with Focus STs in a K04 GTI. He's black too. So yeah, I bought a factory K04-0064, which is the correct K04 for this car, straight from Borg Warner. Yeah, he was checking out the car. Again, just making sure I navigate properly here. Oh, it looks like his car's new. It has what looks like the stickers of the paper plate on the back window. Okay, so the engine is a little warm now, and I feel like my 6-gear throttle response is a little bit better as I try and coax this ST into having a little fun with it. No, he's not going to play. So at any rate, the factory CHRA from Borg Warner is factory balanced, so I didn't have to deal with that, which is fantastic. After I learned that CHRAs have to be balanced, I got a little nervous about rebuilding the turbo, but what was great about buying the factory CHRA is that, first of all, it's brand new. It's got all new seals and bearings and gaskets in it. Not a mark on it, like, or carbon on it, like you might get with a used turbo buy. And with the euro to dollar prices the way they are right now, and this is August of 2000, well, okay, it was March of 2015 when I bought that CHRA. So with the euro to dollar conversion the way it was, I'm sorry if there's a lot of noise. This is a concrete highway, so not much I can do about that. With the euro to dollar conversion rates, it ended up being the CHRA itself was about $465. I believe that's after shipping. It was about 50 euros shipping. So that was great. that I have to do for this kit. Once I got the K03 out and started analyzing how it all went together and what hooked up to what, I noticed that the kit that I bought from the guy off the forums was incomplete. The compressor housing needs fittings for the N75. Those weren't there. I had to tap out, put my own fittings in there. If you're linked to this video from my rebuild thread or from my own personal thread, you'll know all that stuff. There's pictures in there, and I'll link them in the description down below so you can see all that stuff. Yeah, my total cost after the tune and the 3-bar map sensor and the turbo rebuild kit and everything is about $1,750. So it ended up saving me a little bit of money, but I paid for that in inconvenience, really. I mean, there's no doubt about that. That buying a used kit from someone is a bit of a safer route. So you might end up paying, you know, $1,400 for the kit, then $500 for installation, and then you're only, you know, $100 to $200 more than I paid for the whole K04. But you'll have a used turbo, but you'll have a much easier time installing it than I did, for sure. That's what I do. I buy cheap used parts, find out they're not complete, and then complain about all the work I have to do to install them. Budgets. Gotta love budgets. So yeah, K04. I have a bit more open space. I'm still on 65. Let's see what a downshift to 5th does. Still some lag. So quick downshift to 5th. At full throttle. Still only about as fast as stage 2 was. In terms of just, you know, real world everyday driving. You know what, I'm gonna have to start navigating here, and there's a little more traffic, so I'm gonna stop this video and start it back up when I'm on 94 and it's a little more open. Alright, so I just avoided a lot of traffic there by inadvertently missing my exit. But I'm glad I did. As I was getting out of the highway, I noticed something kind of cool about the K04. Even though it spools up slower and the flow kind of feels limited in partial throttle, you know, when you're around 3,000 RPM, partial throttle feels fantastic. It really does. The car feels much more willing to accelerate with lower boost levels. That's a good thing. I like that. Pretty fast here. And merge, 3,000 RPM, 20 pounds of boost. Fairly fast, but I still feel like it's slower than stage 2. Still feels slower than stage 2. There are sacrifices to going K04. That's for sure. So here I'm on 80 east, right? Yes, okay, good. So I should have seen the traffic on 94. I saw it on the way down, and when I actually started up Google Navigation, after I missed the exit, I found out that that would have cost me about a half an hour of stop-and-go traffic, so really happy to pay a couple bucks to get on the toll road and avoid all that shit. And also, I've got 3 lanes and what looks like no cops to fuck around. So here is 4th gear pull, about 60 miles an hour right here. 4th gear, about 4,000 RPM thereabouts. And that's a lot faster than stage 2. Holy shit, man. Yep. That's fast. Okay. So, am I happy with going K04? I'm a little split right now. I'm sad to see the low-end grunt go, honestly. I'm wondering right now if losing the low-end grunt was worth picking up the top end, because honestly, the top end doesn't feel like a whole lot. Again, it doesn't feel grunty like stage 2 felt grunty at 4,000 RPM. I suppose suppose once I sit on it for a little bit, I'll be happy with it. I mean, let me put it this way, I'm not disappointed that I went K04. Put it that way. Nice silver boost to almost 25 PSI. I'm going to have to reposition my boost gauge so I can actually see that high. I had my car out of commission for about 2 weeks during this whole install fiasco. Man, I can talk. And it's just really good to get back in the car again. For sure. Shit, there's a ton of traffic. Jesus. I suppose it's a toll road on a Saturday. About the video. I think I'm just going to leave the video running while I drive up to a point. What are we at, like 4.5 minutes on this video? I'm going to leave it running for another 20 minutes. Probably not talk a lot unless I have a new thought. I don't want to miss a relevant thought for a review. So I'm just gonna leave the video running. And you know what? One thing I did notice, I went from not full throttle, but you know, 10 PSI or so worse than throttle, to less throttle but still boosting. And I noticed the diverter valve had no idea what it was doing. It popped off, and then once the car figured out, oh well, under this load I actually do want to be in boost, it closed. So I got my boost and, you know, a little jerk and torque, and then oh great, toll plaza. And then it re-engaged, and then it popped again. So it's going open, close, and during this I can hear the compressor wheel kind of struggling. It doesn't like all that change. So I might take the spring out of the DV Plus. For those of you that don't know, the Go Fast Bits Diverter Valve Plus is a great kit. A metal diverter valve with a rubber seal. Holds brake, it holds boost great, but the extra spring they put in it for throttle response, well, it works great on K03. I'm not sure it works great on my particular setup that uses the CTS relocation kit. I'm gonna have to pay a toll right here. Might as well cut up the video. Start it back up when I start accelerating. Hey, thank you. Alright, video's working on my phone again. It appears that I got cut off last time. I don't know why, but I'm hoping that I can record a long enough video at least to tell you what I thought I had recorded before. So coming out of the toll booth, I did a full throttle. You can't really do full throttle front wheel drive and all, but a quick acceleration from about 20 miles an hour up, and I was really happy with what happened. So what happened? Typically what I do when I do full throttle from a low speed is I go and I give it a little bit too much, and I back off a little bit until into a range that I think is probably okay for the level of traction I have. Now my tires are not hot, but they're not cold. So I gave it some gas. The first thing I noticed is that the threshold to spinning the tires seems higher than before. it's not that it is higher, it's just that I have less torque available, therefore I'm using up more torque that I have available, and that makes it feel faster. The really awesome thing that happened is that when I let off the gas, typically with a K03, I'm going to have the DV Plus diverter valve. When I let off the gas, the diverter valve actuates and I lose all my boost. And even with the DV Plus, when I get back into boost, the car doesn't feel like it's recovered properly. And I end up, when I let off the gas until, let's say, the point that I want, until the torque level that I want, I usually lose all my boost and I can't get the torque level that I asked for. So I get on the gas, I start accelerating, I start breaking loose, I let off a little bit, and I lose it all. And that's a pain in the ass. So getting from a dig, getting full acceleration was kind of difficult. What happened here with the K04, I don't know if it's a matter of the DV or the diverter valve relocation kit, or it's the K04 or it's a tune. I don't really know, but I pulled back on the power and the diverter valve did not actuate. So I didn't lose all the torque and I kept going fast. Alright, so I found out what happens with my video. Whenever someone tries to call me, it'll stop the video from playing, and then the last time I couldn't start it back up, but who knows? Who cares? I'm back. So I was explaining that I can get much better acceleration from low speeds with the K04. And again, I'm not sure if it's a tune, if it's the K04 turbo, geometry, flow, whatever, the DV relocation kit, but I'm much happier with the acceleration that I can get at low speeds with the K04. And that fact alone makes me feel much better about the purchase. Before I had said that the loss of the low end, it was questionable whether or not it made up for the gain, or it was questionable whether or not the gain in the high end made up for the loss in the low end. But now that I know that I can accelerate so much faster from a dig, no question I'm happy with the purchase and happy with the cost of the K04. Just as a general option for the Mark 6 platform. By the way, stock motor mounts, stock suspension. So yeah, all I really have is Pilot Super Sport tires. Now, what else is there to talk about? Just general drivability of the K04 is great. No complaints there. It's, you know, a lot like many other mods for the Mark 6 platform. You know, daily drivability is just a non-factor in the decisions. When I got the RSR kit, I said that it could you could drive off the dealer lot in this configuration, and it's the same way with the K04. It feels really well put together. It's not a big turbo kit where you're, you know, lifeless until 3,500 RPM. It's not like, it just feels like a well put together machine right now. Now, I have been thinking about intercoolers a lot. I have the S3 intercooler, which is just a hair more voluminous than the stock intercooler, which at least in theory means that I have quicker spool than a larger intercooler, whether it be a front mount or a sandwich mount. But it also means I have a far more restricted top end. Regarding the worthiness of K04's price and what you get out of it, if the K04 enables upgrades like the intercooler or water meth to make much more power on the top end, I'm happy. Because the profile of the torque that you get with the K04 is just wonderful. It moves the torque plateau out from 3,000 to 5,000 RPM to, say, 3.5 to 5.5 now. You know, it makes sense, right? Just bigger turbo, you get more torque later. The power plateau, I haven't found the end of it yet. It's just fantastic. I'm not used to revving out the car to 7,000 RPM, so I haven't really found where the power falls off. But, yeah, I mean, it's an awesome little kit. I don't really have a frame of reference for my speed before and my speed after right now, so I'm I'm an engineer. I need quantitative results, and I don't have those right now. But in terms of just feel, I'm pretty happy with it. So there you go, guys. I think that's just about going to wrap up my review. I've probably put in at least a half an hour worth of content that I'm going to keep into these videos. Not really much more I want to say right now. That's not to say I won't have any opinions later on. I've only put about 100 miles onto this kit, onto this car, this tune. I certainly will be coming back to do the 3.1 tune. I need to get my map sensor figured out, and then I'll go back to Team Audi Volkswagen to get another tune and upgrade to the 3.1. I'll let you guys know what I think about that in another follow-up video. But until then, guys, balls. Alright guys, a couple more notes. PS number 1 here. First of all, I had the AC going that whole time I did my initial review. I just turned the AC off just because I realized that for shits and giggles and gave it another pull, and I definitely got more power. Typically, an AC system, I'd say around 10 horsepower it saps, and it felt like that, and pretty significant additional gains when I turned off AC. Another thing to note, it's 84 degrees outside, so it's fairly toasty. It's not exactly dry outside here. The other thing to note is that I'm cruising along here with the cruise control at 75 in 6th gear. 75 miles an hour in 6th gear is exactly 3,000 RPM. And I feel like at 75, 3,000 RPM, rolling out of 6th gear, the turbo spool rates are just enough to make it so that I don't feel like I need to downshift to get a good full throttle surge. If I'm at 74, not so sure I'm going to get what I want. If I'm at 73, yeah, if I'm at 73, I'm even less sure. Like here, this guy's trying to cut me off. At 75, I feel confident in being able to prevent that. At 73, I would not feel confident. So one of the things I'm going to have to do going forward is look at the speed I'm at in 6th gear when I'm on the highway. If I'm going 73 or 74, I might think twice about trying to prevent something from cutting me off like I did just there. If I'm going 70, very unlikely I'll be able to pull that off. So that's just sort of the consequence of adding the turbo for the Mark 6 platform with the stock. Again, a manual transmission, that's important because I think the DSG ratios are a little different. You're going to have to think about the spool rates and whether or not you're going to be able to pull the asshole-ish trafficy things you do. There we go. NPS number 1. Alright, I'm at a toll booth here paying my toll, and then I'm going to do another full throttle from kind of big. Hey, how much is it going to be? Here's 4. Thank you. Turn off AC. Alright, put a second off. Okay. Alright, you know the car is faster because I hit 60 way sooner. Holy shit. Top end is great. Alright, so the tune was adapting some. This is definitely faster than it was just an hour ago. Oh, I'm feeling a little chub working its way up. I hope it doesn't make it onto the camera. Alright. Hey guys, PS number 3 here. I'm sorry for my shaky camera mount. The car was sitting out in the sun and it got a little hot. And now it bounces around. So I'm in town here. There's more stop signs. All of my reviews before this were just on the highway, so now it's a little more like, you know, low speed attitude type stuff. So coming out from a stop sign, I noticed the car seems a little bit more labored trying to accelerate. You definitely have to adjust the RPM band that you operate within. If you want swift acceleration, you got to be between 2 and 3. Now here I am, just really leisurely shifting kind of nearer before 2000 RPM. And even then, it feels just a little bit more labored than the K03 did. So it's not the case that the purely naturally aspirated power is more with a larger turbo. I thought that it could perhaps be because the AR ratio of the turbo was higher, and therefore, in theory, it should flow better as the turbine is stalled, but it doesn't really make the car faster or more torquey in any way. You know, I suppose for just lazy driving, if you're just around town and you know you don't need speed, you don't. Sorry for the road noise here, but you don't need a lot of speed and you're just putzing around town. It's a little bit slower, but it's fine. It's not. I said earlier that the car could roll off the factory this way, and that's still the case, even though it's not as spirited as K03 was around town. There you go, end of PS number 3. Better sitting around. Balls.